Unveiling the Truth: How the Rental Market Impacts Property Values for Short-Term Rentals. Welcome, dear viewers, to a deep dive into short-term rentals and how they affect property values. Have you ever wondered if your neighbor's Airbnb reduces your home's worth? Or perhaps you're considering investing in a vacation rental, but you're unsure if it's worth it in the long run? Fear not, for we shall reveal the truth about the impact of the rental market on property values. The rental market has been booming in recent years, with more and more people opting for short-term rentals instead of traditional hotels. And while this can be great for travelers, it can have a mixed impact on the housing market. On the one hand, short-term rentals can increase demand for properties in tourist hotspots, driving up prices. But on the other hand, they can also lead to an oversaturation of rentals in certain areas, causing property values to decrease. So, what does this mean for you as a homeowner or investor? Should you be wary of short-term rentals or embrace them with open arms? Join us as we uncover the truth about the rental market and its impact on property values. Buckle up, dear viewers, and let's get started. The impact of short-term rentals on neighboring properties. Short-term vacation rentals have both positive and negative impacts on neighboring properties. On the one hand, they provide economic benefits by generating income through tax revenues and attracting tourism to less popular destinations. However, they also reduce the availability of long-term rentals in residential areas, increasing housing and rental prices. Living next door to a short-term vacation rental can result in noise disturbance and changes to the neighborhood's character, leading to protests by local residents. In addition, traditional lodging partners such as hotels argue that short-term vacation rentals have an unfair advantage as they are not regulated like hotels and do not have to pay staff or tourist taxes. This leads to a missed opportunity for tax revenue for local governments. The effects of rental market trends on property values. The rental market is causing quite a stir in 2023, with investors across the globe scratching their heads, wondering whether it'll generate a positive ROI. The housing market is in a bit of a pickle, with low availability, rising demographic demand, and the inflationary costs, all creating a bit of a mixed bag of signals. If the stock market doesn't perform well, investors will likely start looking for property bargains, especially when it comes to rental properties. On the flip side, homeowners are struggling to sell their homes and are instead turning to the rental market. Financing for home purchases is difficult, leaving Gen Xers and baby boomers stuck with properties they can't sell without taking a big hit on their next purchase. All this demand for rentals is leading to some pretty impressive rent yields in certain cities, with some seeing above 6% rent growth in the last month. But beware, dear renters, as we head into the next 5 years, we may see rent prices gradually fall as interest rates and mortgage rates rise. Immigration continues, and the affordable rental stock dries up. How short-term rentals influence the overall housing market. You know what they say, what goes up must come down. But in the case of short-term rentals, what goes up might make housing prices go up too. A study out of Los Angeles found that for every 10% increase in short-term rental listings, there was a 0.42% increase in rents and a 0.76% increase in house prices. So what does this mean? If you're a landlord looking to make a quick buck by renting out your spare room on Airbnb, you might inadvertently contribute to the housing affordability crisis. And if you're a renter or a first-time home buyer, you might be out of luck when finding an affordable place to live. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Short-term rentals can also bring in tourism dollars and provide visitors a more authentic travel experience. And if you're lucky enough to own property in a hot rental market, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. So, it's a delicate balance between the benefits and drawbacks of short-term rentals in the rental market. Regulations and zoning laws for short-term rentals in various cities. Short-term rental zoning laws and regulations are necessary for cities and towns to ensure that the community's interests are protected. The rise of Airbnb and other online rental services has made short-term renting popular, even in areas that are not traditionally touristy. Short-term rental zoning provisions usually define short-term as less than 30 days, but some seasonal zoning regulations may apply if the rental is for more than 30 days but less than 180 days. The zoning ordinance sets the standards for short-term rental zoning, including the requirement for off-street parking, noise and nuisance provisions, and requirements for garbage collection, among others. In some cases, special or conditional use permits are required, allowing the government to address concerns about extra vehicles, noise, trash removal, frequency of turnover, and more. Other regulations may include requirements for code compliance, fire safety measures, adequate water and sewer service, and notification of neighbors or their agreement. Limitations on turnover and the minimum stay may also be enforced, along with limitations on particular areas where short-term rental is either not allowed or restricted. The impact of short-term rentals on the tourism industry. So, short-term rentals have been making quite a splash in the rental market, and not just because people are getting soaked in their private pools, although that's definitely a perk. These rentals are having a pretty big impact on the tourism industry. For starters, they're adding more options to the rental market, which is great news for travelers who want to explore a new place but don't necessarily want to stay in a hotel. Plus, these rentals often offer unique and quirky accommodations you can't find anywhere else. But it's not just travelers benefiting from the rental market's expansion. Short-term rentals are also helping to spread visitors out to different parts of a destination, which means that local businesses are seeing more foot traffic and getting a boost in revenue. And let's not forget that these rentals are often owned by locals, which means that they can participate in the tourism industry in a way they might not have been able to before. So, it seems like short-term rentals are a win-win for everyone involved in the rental market. And who knows, maybe someday we'll all be renting our homes to eager travelers too. The financial benefits and drawbacks of investing in short-term rental properties. On the plus side, you could potentially rake in more moolah with the short-term rental than a long-term one. Plus, you'll have more flexibility regarding when you want to use the property yourself. And let's not forget about better maintenance. Your property won't have time to fall into disarray if you've got guests coming and going all the time. But don't go counting your rental market chickens just yet. There are some downsides to short-term rentals too. You can't always count on consistent rental income since your occupancy rates may fluctuate depending on the season or other factors. Plus, operating expenses tend to be higher for short-term rentals. And don't forget about local laws. Some places might limit or even straight up ban short-term rentals. So, is investing in short-term rentals worth it? It depends on your goals and priorities. Just be sure to research and crunch the numbers before diving into the rental market waters. The rise of short-term rental platforms and their impact on the rental market. According to the experts, it's projected to grow at a whopping 19.1% per year from 2022 to 2032, with a market size of over $25 billion by the end of the forecast period. That's a lot of cash, my friends. But what does this mean for the rental market as a whole? Well, it's causing a shakeup, that's for sure. Traditional hotels are starting to feel the heat and trying to develop new and innovative ways to compete with short-term rentals. And there's no shortage of business to cater to the short-term rental crowd. There's no end to the possibilities, from keyless entry systems to on-demand cleaning services. Of course, there are some concerns about security in the online rental market, with unethical sites buying fake reviews and fraudulent sites popping up. It's important to research before booking. But overall, the rental market is changing and evolving, and those who can adapt to the new landscape will surely reap the rewards. So buckle up and get ready for the ride. Whether you're a host or a guest, the rental market is where it's at. The differences between short-term and long-term rental markets. Long-term or short-term? That's the question when it comes to the rental market. The main difference between these two options is the length of time you'll be renting out your property. If you choose long-term rentals, you'll be in it for the long haul, expecting to have tenants for at least 6 months or even years. This means you'll need to find tenants looking for a more permanent home rather than someone just passing through for a weekend. On the other hand, short-term rentals cater to travelers who want a cozy place to stay for a few nights or weeks. This type of rental can be great for property owners looking to make a quick buck, as they can charge a premium for each night. However, be prepared for high turnover rates and the constant need to clean and maintain the property to ensure a good experience for guests. The choice between long-term and short-term rentals depends on your goals, your property's location, and risk tolerance in the ever-changing rental market. So, we've concluded our discussion about the rental market and its impact on property values for short-term rentals. Here's the truth. The rental market significantly impacts property values. Property values tend to be higher in areas with high demand for short-term rentals as investors see the potential for greater profits. However, property values may suffer in areas with oversaturated rental markets as competition increases and demand decreases. It's all about supply and demand, folks. Property values will go up if there's a shortage of available properties for short-term rentals. But if too many properties compete for the same pool of renters, values will go down. It's simple economics, really. So, if you're considering investing in a short-term rental property, be sure to research the rental market in your desired location. Look for areas with high demand and low competition to maximize your investment. And remember, the rental market is constantly changing, so stay informed and adaptable to stay ahead of the game. What will you surely remember among these guides we have for you? Comment down below and share it with us. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. See you next time.